Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to my YouTube channel, to my live stream. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to do this late tonight because I didn't want to do it early. Let's see if y'all can hear me and you can see my live stream. Alright, it's on. I'm going live now. Hope I get some views, some subscribers. This will be like an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to do our WWE Crown Jewels review live stream. Crown Jewel came out early tonight. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning. The pre-show was on at 6 in the morning. And then the show was 8 o'clock. Then the show went off at 11. I wanted to wait until I can, for all the other podcasters and subscribers. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel, let me know in the comment section below y'all want to see more. My video is sponsored by PlayStation, it's sponsored by Sound Off, JD from New York, Fight for Pro Wrestling, Just Alex, Joe Cronin, Good My Work Commentaries, and other podcasters and YouTubers that I know of. Enjoy this video. We're gonna go through the entire show of Crown Jewels 2025 pay-per-view. Perth, Australia. Now we know that Monday Night Raw, it can be in Perth. That's why they're staying in Australia. It can be on at 8 o'clock in the morning on Netflix. Now, I thought the pay-per-view was very good. Thought it was a great show. Again, we only had 5 matches on it. All the matches were very good. They delivered. We got I think the best match was John Cena and AJ Styles. That was a 5-star classic. The match that opened the show with Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns in a Australian 3-5. That was a very good match. We saw a lot of interference, a lot of weapons. That was a very good match. Bronson Reed got the victory, as I predicted. He needed it. We had a very good tag team match with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane versus Asuka, Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Valkyrie. I actually didn't unlock her in the game, so I had to use Charlotte to replace her. But Stephanie was a very good match. Stephanie Valkyrie won. It was actually very short. It wasn't that long, but it was a very good match. The white person won. Stephanie Valkyrie needed it because he won the title. And the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the Crown Jewel Championship. A very good main event. These two have fantastic chemistry. And Seth Rollins needed to get that victory. He actually won. That was very interesting. He won with the wallet that Cody Rhodes gave him 2 years ago to help him win and finish the story at WrestleMania 40. There was no interference, no Brock Lesnar, no Dragunov like I predicted, no Austin Theory that I heard people talk about. Maybe we'll see it on Raw. But, yeah. There was no one else. Seth Rollins won with no help. No one in the division got involved. Seth won with the Rolex. Yeah. It was a very good match. John Cena got the victory. Bronson Reed got the victory. We'll talk about that. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Rhea's hometown in Australia. It was also Bronson Reed's hometown in Australia, but he didn't get that much of a reaction. He got 0 reaction. Get the crowd don't like it. Well, he threw a heel with the vision, but he didn't get a reaction. Rhea got massive reaction because in her hometown in Perth, Australia, they said it was Rhea's birthday. They said it was her birthday. Was it really? Happy birthday to Rhea Ripley. Seth Rollins got the victory. Yeah. Alright. So, let's get into this. Okay. Now I'm going to get into some of the other podcasters on here that I want to show y'all. Now, all the podcasters that already talked about this. Okay. There's a Fightful. Now we did get the countdown to Crown Jewels here. Alright, guys. Oh, actually, wait. This is the pre-show. My bad. That's the pre-show. The pre-show was 2 hours. No massive on the show. It was just Superstar being interviewed. They advertised everything else. The Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
We've got a lot of tryouts.
Okay.
We always like to try and...
We got Wrestle Dance.
Is someone...
Going through all the podcasters here.
We were headed for a head-on collision instead of a...
Yeah, I don't know if it...
Think we got Weasel Blonde. Huh? Blocked into the copyrights.
The photographer get that pic. I know, Matt. Oh.
We got A and B.
Love. The reason I love... Okay, Triple H is getting out of the ring.
Here's a comment. Here's a Fightful Pro Wrestling. For Sean WhatsApp. Major upset at Australia.
42 like usually in situations like that where there are like 20 options, there's not a favorite. There's just a leader in the odds, and he is favored to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 42. Check it out, MyBookie AG. They got the best support system anywhere else. They've got great bet back. Then they finally come out, and Jey Uso ends up spearing Roman Reigns. They do not like each other. And they shouldn't. And I'll get to that momentarily. Tsunami wins the match. Bronson Reed winning was absolutely the right call. Roman Reigns is not around that much. And Roman Reigns is only going to be around less, right? Like, I don't see him just like hanging around and doing regular programs and all that stuff. So Bronson Reed winning is absolutely the right decision here. We had him as an MyBookie underdog pick. They're facing
NBA 2K26 on PlayStation 5. Check this. Watch me hit this.
Thanksgiving. He said it. Stratton, this was abrupt, man. This was way quicker than I had anticipated. It feels like they really had to rush through this. It was 10 minutes. It was over in a snap. And I'm like, okay, well, we've got 3.5 hours for 5 matches. Does this need to be 10 minutes? If it's a crown jewel champion versus champion match, as this is, does it need to be like this? I don't think so. I think these women should have gotten more time.
Yeah.
It was good for what it was. It was just really short.
Yeah.
And I say really short as it relates to crown jewel and all that, and you're doing Raw champion, SmackDown champion, all that. We'd see the breaks. Just a line from Joe Dirt. Tag team match. He has to.
Alright, let's go into the other podcaster, No DQ.
Bring in the numbers and get people interested. And I almost feel like it's the same thing here with the Bloodline. You know, you had that red-hot Bloodline storyline during 2022, 2023, led to a boom period in WWE. And, you know, it feels like we're cooling off a little bit, but now we got the Bloodline back in the mix again, and there's this drama between them and 2J. The This Guy Experience sent into...
hit the press conference.
Watch. And again, that is a pivotal moment, no question. But Seth did so many things well. And you just
try and be there for people, and I'm growing with Jack.
We also got Grapsody with Rez and Phil.
That's all you really need to say here, Philip Lindsay. Feels good on a Saturday. I'm recovering from being a sick person. I hate being sick. It's stupid out here. Denise and I were talking about it on the show. It's like if you do, because I did the last week, it's like we had the 4th anniversary pod, and then we had the regular pod, and then I did the street essentially off Instagram, off of whatever. They're like, do you want to try it? And if these people are like, yeah, then they're going with them. So I can't be mad at somebody for getting some kind of bag and them being like, hey, try this thing out. Because a ball to LFG, do you go from
right, that was a heater. Had like some good beats here and there. I'm just ready for butt feud over this belt with Mariah and lose a match. We ain't talking about that.
that guy.
Yeah, that's been one of few blips since SummerSlam, but this match was very good. I saw some people already trying to say it's match of the year. I don't know if I would say all of that, but I really enjoyed it. This was a lot of...
They said that there were some WWE releases and WWE IDs. What releases? Who got released? Gotta find out.
I think this crowd really made this match even better than what it was. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Act like he doesn't need their help, then there is no real story for these guys to get together and team up to win the War Games match. And of course, now that you have Jay at odds with CM Punk, that's also part of the reason why Punk is probably going to join their team as well in the lead up to War Games. Because they have a common enemy in division.
Punk and...
But, yeah, I did like the outcome of this last time. Yeah, I did like the outcome of this. I am glad that Bronson picked up the win because I had just written this off like, well, Roman's going to win. So that's fine. But good for Bronson. And they're...
All right, let's go into Denise Salcedo.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the WWE Crown Jewel 2025 post-show here. It is your girl, Denise Salcedo. I'm riding solo today because it's freaking early, man. So we might as well do the John Cena's best match of his farewell tour. But a lot of people are saying that John Cena versus AJ Styles is match of the year. Do you have any idea how difficult that is when we're constantly seeing so many impressive matches that we have seen throughout the entire year? And right now, with only a couple months left, we may have gotten what many people consider match of the year for John Cena. And
yeah, this is John Cena's third best match out of the year since Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, and now AJ Styles. They had great chemistry. It was much better than the shit match that we got with Brock Lesnar.
AJ Styles. That match had a really, really high bar, considering that a lot of people have very fond memories of the last time you saw John and AJ. They have that explosive chemistry throughout their time period, and to see them in this day and age, 2025, go at it is something that I thought was really the true highlight of the show. For those of you that watched the show, most of you guys probably watched it very, very early. For me, over in Los Angeles, here on the West Coast, was up at 5 a.m. And let me tell you, John Cena versus AJ Styles was so good that I did not regret waking up super early to watch this show. Probably even got emotional scene because we all know that that's it. Like, John Cena has 4 more appearances that are left. We still don't officially know who his last opponent is going to be. We have an idea. There's rumors that it's going to be Gunther. However, when it comes to pro wrestling, cards subject to change. You never fully know until we're actually in it. So I don't know who the last couple of wrestlers are going to be that step into the ring with John. But let me tell you, following this match with AJ, it's going to be very, very hard to top. Like, I had some people here during the watch along that were saying, you know, that should have been John Cena's last match. It was so freaking good that they don't have the I don't know if you guys don't have maybe the confidence or maybe the hope right now, especially because we don't know for sure that whatever John Cena's last match is gonna be, that it could even top the one that he just did with AJ right now. Because right now, that to me is sitting at number 1. John Cena versus AJ today is number 1 from his farewell tour. And I was trying to debate like which one I think is number 2. I think number 2 might be the Cody John match, the second one. Not the WrestleMania 1 match, or not that one. It was the second one. But he also did good stuff with Randy. He also did good stuff with CM Punk. And I'm probably forgetting a few others right now. But one of the things that
church is for everyone. That includes you. It doesn't matter if you're young or old, married or single. At church, we're all just.
But one of the things that really, really sort of dawned on me coming off of this match is a couple of things, honestly. I started thinking about father time, right? We're always thinking about father time. Jesus, times and clocks, and when you're in it and you're because not only is it John Cena's, farewell tour, but we now know that AJ Styles is going to be wrapping it up next year. And let's be real, it's going to go by so fast. And in a few weeks, few months, that's all we're going to be talking about is AJ Styles in his retirement year. And to think right now, been the entire time, ladies and gents. I feel, and of course it's easier to say this in hindsight now that we saw how kind of shitty the John Cena heel turn turned out to be. I feel like we wasted so much time. So much precious time I feel was kind of wasted with John Cena's heel run that really just did not hit the way we hoped it would coming off of the Elimination Chamber. And I feel like we should have gotten more moments like this where we got a phenomenal match with John and AJ, but also a feel-good ending. I was even thinking back to as recent as WrestlePalooza. When we got that crap-ass match with Brock and then Brock won, I remember being like, how do they not get it? Like, that's what I was thinking to myself. How does WWE not get that the people want happiness with this? Like, John Cena's time is almost up. I don't want to see Brock defeat John Cena. I want to see John Cena defeat Brock. Like, that's a feel-good moment, and I get it. We know that, bad guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm not new to wrestling. I've been here for a long time, whatever. But there are times where you just want to get the good stuff, okay? I thought that should have happened at WrestlePalooza, and thankfully we got it here today, of course, with this match. And it felt right. Everything about John Cena versus AJ Styles felt right, except for the fact that it wasn't the main event. That should have been a main event matchup. It was tremendous. It felt like a main event. But it felt right, though. All of the moments. So what made this match special was that throughout the entire time, you were seeing both John and AJ. He was walking back to the locker room, and John Cena was having his moment in the ring. AJ Styles had the face of like, yep, we fucking did it. Like, matches on that we've been AJ Styles kind of gave you guys a lot there. Here, someone mentioned how, Stephanie is a, former, double champ on the Tiffany got hit in this winning streak that she Cody, they don't Tiffany Stratton really helped Seth Rollins win. Like, there was theories of Brock Lesnar coming out. There was a theory of Austin Theory coming out. There was all of these theories of who was going to join the Vision and whether or not they were going to come out and help out Seth Rollins during this matchup. None of which happened, which I'm kind of glad in a way because I don't feel like we always need to do things like that. We all knew Seth Rollins was going to win He was going to look weak as a champion. He was going to look weak as the leader of the division. Paul Heyman basically said, like, I'm going to rethink our whole situation if you don't win this match. So Seth Rollins had a lot more to lose, whereas Cody, it's fine. He'll bounce back. He's still the champion. That's what matters. He'll move on and be just fine, right? But Seth needed this victory. Now, the first 5-ish minutes of Seth and Cody, I really wasn't that into because I felt like there was just too much of like stalling, too many slow periods, too much pandering and playing to the crowd and stuff like that. So it sort of slowed down the match. Once we started to see less of that and the match sped up, it did take me a second to like buy into the fact that he used the watch to basically lead to the stomp off the top. You have to be a good crowd if you're international. Like, that's it. They've set this bar. Her, and he took some time off and outside help. And that on this PLE. And so I thought the energy was.
We got Christian Miracle.
Liberty Mutual customized my
Crown Jewel was an amazing way to start off the morning.
Today was WWE Crown Jewel, which aired live from the RAC Arena in Perth, Western Australia. This marks the first time the premium live event took place outside of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia since its creation in 2018. And despite the change of scenery, the theme of the event remained the same from last year. Both world champions from the men and women would battle it out for the Crown Jewel Championship title belt and be granted a ring. The event also featured a classic battle between wrestling legends John Cena and AJ Styles. Due to time zones, I woke up early and watched the event at 8 o'clock in the morning, and as the title of the video says, this show was an amazing way to start the morning. So here is my full review on WWE Crown Jewel. We started the show with an Australian street fight between the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and the Tribal Thief Bronson Reed. The street fight definitely was a major improvement over their match at Clash in Paris last August, and featured many entertaining usages of weapons, including rugby balls and cricket bats. As predicted, Braun Breaker interfered on behalf of his Vision teammate, and the Usos jumped in to help their cousin. A decision that would ultimately cost Roman Reigns the match, as Jey Uso accidentally speared Roman through a table, allowing Bronson to take advantage and connect a tsunami to win the match, thus becoming only the second wrestler to pin Roman Reigns in a singles match in the 2020s decade, the other being Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah. And that's a big deal for Bronson Reed. He's the second man to pin Roman Reigns in the last 5 years in a singles match. Now we've seen Reigns be pinned in tag team, triple threat, but this is a singles match. So that's a big deal for Bronson Reed. It was a big deal when it was Cody Rhodes when he pinned him at WrestleMania 2 years ago. Bronson Reed is a big deal.
I give this match a 4 out of 5 for being a fun way to kick off the show and utilizing the street fight rules to their advantage. Next up was the first of 2 Crown Jewel Championship matches, starting off with the women. The women's champion from SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton, faced off against Raw's Women's World Champion, Stephanie McMahon. And while the match was good at some points, it really felt like it was cut short at times. Had some rough beginnings, but picked up as we neared the end. It wasn't a bad match, but it could have been done better. Stephanie got the win with the corkscrew moonsault and became the second Women's Crown Jewel champion. I give this match a 3 out of 5 because while it was a good match, I expected more out of these 2 champions. Up next is the long-awaited and final clash between John Cena and AJ Styles. A match fans demanded for a long time. Greatest rivals, including the likes of The Miz, Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho, Randy Orton, among others. To each other and their greatest rivals over the years. John Cena secured his 100th PLE victory with a tombstone pile driver and a final attitude adjustment. I give this match a perfect 5 out of...
Yeah, John Cena is like second place. I think the first one is Undertaker, Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns. I think Randy Orton can break that. It's a possibility.
5 score for being an excellent show of sportsmanship in more ways than one, and a perfect conclusion to the John Cena vs. AJ Styles rivalry. Next was a tag team match as the Kabuki Warriors teamed up against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Now this was a good back and forth contest, but suffered from having to follow the chaotic match between John Cena and AJ Styles, as well as dragging longer than it needed to be. I also wasn't really a fan of the ending, which was Rhea and Io conquering Asuka and Kairi Sane simply for Rhea to get the hometown win. I truthfully believe Asuka of super crossroads from the top rope, which usually triples the power of the finishing move. This was also the third time Seth was hit with a crossroads, so add in the triple power of the super crossroads, and it's like Seth getting hit with 6 of them. This wasn't like earlier when John Cena and AJ Styles sent tribute to their great rivals. This was Seth making the one move that conquered Roman Reigns' 1300-day title reign look like a wimpy one. Seth won the match and the Crown Jewel Championship with multiple curb stomps and a punch to Cody's face using a Rolex. I gave this match a 4 out of 5, but it would have been higher had it not been for the 10,000 finisher kickouts. Matter of fact, can you even call these things finishers anymore? Overall, I gave this event an 82%. I mostly watched the show and enjoyed nearly all.
Alright, let's go into your other podcasters.
This runway is your future because you're headed home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Crown Jewel 2025 is officially in the books, and I know that many of you have clicked on this video in a pure panic, not realizing that you missed the entire show because it started at 8 a.m. Eastern. But welcome to my review of Crown Jewel 2025. We're going to go through every single match. I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, did I agree with the booking decisions, and now we're going to talk about where storylines can go after this show as we go towards Survivor Series War Game. And of course, I'm going to ask you to leave in the comment section below your thoughts about every single match, and if you thought that WWE knocked it out of the park, or at least did they do better than Jimmy and Rome. Crown Jewel.
We made it through. Oh, who held down the head of the table for so long in Roman Reigns. They're building that up to be a big match, and honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if it is on the table for possibly, it might be Royal Rumble, could be WrestleMania. But anyways, back to the match. Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. After Bronson Reed had some help from Braun Breaker, that means that the Uso had to come on in. The Usos tag team, they matchup. There was no...
Alright. Going into the other
Crown
podcast.
2025 just concluded, and it was a very different PLE. We didn't get no shockers, we didn't get no shenanigans, no surprises, no shocking returns. But you know, people, maybe that's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what we asked lately. All we needed at this point was a night of good wrestling. In a very weird way, even though this was as basic as it gets, Roman, because this family ain't getting along, people. I probably misheard that shit, but he... Wrong. Thank you so...
Alright, we're going to some of the podcasters here.
Found themselves back perched up on the top rope again, and this time, carries. I told you. He was like, you got people thinking that I can't do shit without y'all. That I can't do shit on my own. I told you, I'm gonna do this on my own. Referring to the hope that he constantly got from the bloodline, Reigns tries to calm down. He tells his cousins, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love y'all. I love y'all.
QB3 now, not the starter. Really great stuff because I love everybody involved. Rhea's got that I can't beat Io.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy C-Dex coming at you live from the hotel room, okay? This show, Crown Jewel, was absolute garbage. Let's just say it like it is. This show was trash, man. It's nonsensical trash. I'm not going to be able to rant and yell like I normally do, but we have to keep things tempered, but still be honest. This show was a disaster. Every single PLE this year outside of the Evolution 2, you know what I'm saying? The Evolution 2 was really good, and I think that the Elimination Chamber was decent. Everything outside of that has been either mid or awful, and most of it has been awful, and this is just the facts at this point. What was accomplished on this PLE? When you have 5 matches on a Crown Jewel card, which we normally get like 7 or 8 matches, it feels like, but you have 5 matches on this Crown Jewel card, and no one is fighting for anything. Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed, what were they fighting for? What were they fighting for? What are Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vaquer really fighting for? A belt that we see once a year, a ring that we see once a year, and that's the moment they win it, and the Raw afterwards, and it's never seen again. Like, it's embarrassing at this point. We move on. John Cena and AJ Styles. The match was an absolute finisher fest, but it was paying homage to a lot of wrestling greats and people who have been seen as rivals, and it was like kind of like a tribute to wrestling, so I kind of liked that match. Anything above good for that match, though, was overrated. People are going to say it's a masterclass. It wasn't. It was a glorified finisher fest, but it was a ton of fun, and seeing it it happen with, people like obviously John Cena and AJ Styles, two of the legends of the industry, it was pretty cool. And then obviously you had Codarius Rodington losing to Seth Rollins in not a clean way. Seth Rollins uses that watch to punch Cody Rhodes with a little pity pat punch, and Cody Rhodes is just knocked out. Dr. Libations has too many libations and falls over drunk and gets curb stomped from the top rope, and that's the end of the match. It's embarrassing. Nothing is earned. Nothing is matches or storylines, but they don't. It's just repetitive book.
Okay.
Well, that was forward. That's why did John Cena and AJ Styles have the best WWE match of all of 2025. I'm Luke Owen, DA or ESPN's Let Great.
As like Casablanca, I know you do. I don't know. That's not.
Right. Raul Nogales. Oh, excuse me. I mean, and then I'm going to read what ESPN had to say about the show, and we're going to compare and contrast. So you might want to grab yourself a seat. Ripley, Kabuki Warriors, Asuka, and of course, Kai getting the win with surprise.
They're calling Good My Work commentary. I'm going through all the podcasts at first.
A little more wrestling, a few more matches, and maybe a few less commercials and advertisements, and so much filler in between. I mean, 5 matches, 3.5 hours is ridiculous. You should theoretically be able to bust this out in 2 hours, but there's so much filler on a WWE show, so many needless video packages, and WWE stroking themselves off, and these long, extremely long entrances and intros and all this other stuff. You don't have a whole lot of wrestling here, but for a 5-match card, I believe that every match delivered here. There really wasn't a stinker on the whole show. Maybe the weakest match was the women's tag, but that's only because it was somewhat short and sweet, but it wasn't even a bad match. All 4 of those women are pros. Ripley and Io and Asuka and Kairi, they can all go, and it was a good match. So even though that was probably the weakest match on the card for the day, it was still a good match. So in terms of Crown Jewel, it was predictable. By the way, I did go perfect in my predictions. Not much of a brag there. It's only 5 matches, and I even said in my predictions that I felt very, very confident about going perfect. So with the matches being somewhat predictable, I would be inclined not to give the show a great grade, but I think what really helped this was the John Cena and AJ Styles match, and then just the overall quality of all the matches. The John Cena and AJ Styles match was really, really special, and I'm glad I got a chance to watch that in its entirety, and I think that's really what's going to put this, pay-per-view over the top in terms of being a better than average show. So ESPN has already dropped their grade on the show. Andreas Hale, the same guy that gave it a C grade for WrestlePalooza, here's what he said about Crown Jewel today. A show that stumbled out of the gate with a relatively tame street fight and a far too brief fight between women's champions was rescued by an absolutely stellar match between John Cena and AJ Styles that put an excellent bookend to their rivalry. Rollins finally getting his comeuppance against Rhodes by any means necessary, and the women's tag match were both strong and anchored a memorable bounce back for WWE after a middling WrestlePalooza. So I feel like that's a fair grade. I'd probably concur with a B or a B+. I think the strength of that John Cena and AJ match kind of makes me want to give it an A, to be honest, because I really, really, really enjoyed that. But, makes a point about the women's matches. Stephanie and Tiffany was also pretty short, but, again, not bad. And the finish there, when Stephanie hit her corkscrew splash thing, she landed right on Tiffany. Ouch. But I didn't even think that match was that bad, but yeah, it was a little bit short. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what we got on Crown Jewel, and when I think about how I thought this show would go in my predictions and leading up to the show, it kind of went exactly like I thought. So let me know what you guys think in the chat here. By the way, welcome to your WWE Crown Jewel 2025 review. We will be here to review the show. I'm going to mention a couple of tidbits about last night's SmackDown, and we will talk about those WWE releases in just a second. Just want to make sure I can be seen and heard. All right, we're looking good. We had a little bit of a mishap last night. I've got to do some repairs behind me. my shelf collapsed. The bottom shelf, one of the brackets I noticed was loose, and I was like, oh, I must not have had that drilled into a stud, because I was going pretty fast. By the time I got to the last one, I probably wasn't paying attention, so it started coming loose. And so I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm just going to re-drill the bracket in there to hold up the shelf, but I must be behind a metal restrictor plate or protection plate or something, because I cannot get the screw anywhere through the stud down there. So I'm going to have to find a different solution, but I propped up a piece of wood in the meantime and a couple of like little books to hold the shelf up, and I'm going to run over to Home Depot tomorrow, probably get a couple of pieces of wood and just kind of build a couple of supports coming down from the floor to 3 3/4 stars at the very least, but I'm thinking 4 stars or better are what Cena and AJ matches are, and tonight was no different. It was really, really special. Can't wait to talk about releases. Now, let me know if I'm missing anybody. This is mostly NXT talent and developmental talent, and I only knew who I think like 3 of these people were. Number 1, the biggest one, was Wesley. Now, he's a former North American champion. I think he's even a former NXT Tag Team champion, right? Just an unbelievable talent. Sad to see him go. It's a bummer. Like, when I see Wesley, I see, I see Nathan Frazier. I see Carmelo Hayes. He's tremendous. Like, why wouldn't you want to keep this guy? AEW's got a bunch of him, too. They've got your Kevin Knights. They've got your, AR Foxes. Pack, guys like that, and there's a what's your point here? Like, what's your point? So get to the over here. It's to your collective thing or whatever the fuck that was. Some wrestlers were kind of requesting, and so they had a big face-off in the ring with the strobe lights going, and this is awesome chance. I really, really like that, to be honest. There's got to be one in the last couple of years in AEW. Ina Vega and middle of the ring, allowing Bronson Reed to go to the top rope and hit the tsunami for him. I think that really hurt him, Vince doing that. And a lot of the fans didn't really like him. Seemed just a little off. Lacked charisma and seemed like a little prick. But he's been, waiting to come back to TV here. And if they bring him into the Vision, and that's going to be your team. It's going to be Bronson, Breaker, Rollins, Theory, and Brock against who? Cody? Cena? Maybe Roman? Maybe the Usos? LA Knight, CM Punk? So maybe what? CM Punk, LA Knight, Cody, or maybe not Cody. It might just be Punk, Knight, the Usos, and then either Cena or Roman or something like that. I don't know. So that's probably what War Games is going to be. I can't imagine War Games being anything else. It's not going to be like Wyatt Six and MFTs, right? It's going to be the Vision. It's going to be, the big angle on Raw is what we're going to see at War Games. But I am a little bit concerned about what that means now for Roman Reigns. Oh, Theory still... I thought Theory was all right. I thought Theory was getting better. So he's still hurt? Oh, okay. That video of Theory was from years ago? Oh, it looks so new to me. I just was scrolling through it. I didn't even care to stop on it, but I thought that was something that he was maybe doing right now. That was years ago? Holy crap. Okay. Dave says the plan is for Dom versus Cena at Survivor Series, but who knows? I actually am fine with that. Since I'm going to Survivor Series and I'm going to be in attendance for John Cena's second to last appearance ever, I would like a one-on-one match. I wouldn't mind that. So Dominic would be a great opponent. It would be even more awesome if it was for the championships. What if John Cena won the AAA Mega Championship and the Intercontinental Championship? He's never won either of those, right? John Cena is not... there's not some Intercontinental title run that I'm forgetting somewhere with John Cena. He's never won that title, right? So if he faces Dom and wins the Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series, that would be awesome. Then what, he drops it to Gunther at Saturday night's main event? John Cena goes into that match as IC champ? Probably unlikely. So if Cena does face Dom, it's either got to be non-title or, Cena's got to win, and I think both will be the case. So, interesting. There you go, Clone Force. Take out Theory, put in Drew. But Drew is over on SmackDown. Not that you can't have SmackDown people in there, But, what, him joining the Vision, maybe, I don't know. Or at least joining up with them. I mean, imagine that team. Imagine if it was Drew and Brock on the same War Games side, after their Performance Center WrestleMania main event. Could be Drew. Yeah, well, hopefully everything is all right with Austin Theory and his injury gets healed, and he's back on TV soon, and we might see him join the Vision. But War Games, right now, it's kind of hard to tell what exactly they're going to do for War Games, and they might start setting that in motion this Monday on Raw at 5 o'clock in the morning for me. Anyway, all right, so next matchup was the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton taking on WWE Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer. This was a good match. I did think it was a little bit maybe shorter. It was nothing super. This is on the top rope, the living proof of that. And watching AJ and the winner of Milwaukee.
It's finally out. Hit play, then hit
Hold
order
on.
now. It's Domino's $9.99 best deal ever.
Hold on, there's a commercial. Gotta get the other podcasters in here.
Just $9.99 online. Consider
Alright.
tonight's surprise track.
We got another podcaster.
From Jay, and
We got Solomon the Sound on.
with Austin Theory a couple years ago.
Hold on.
Match. We got a lot of callbacks in this match. We got a lot of people.
Hold on.
Matches they had prior to this show. They have never had a bad match.
Hold on. Trying to show you Solomon the Sound on.
Theory a couple years ago. You hear things like, "Oh, he's washed." That's it. He doesn't have it anymore. He can't go anymore. The man is washed, right? For a guy who was washed, I will point out to you that John Cena has stolen the show.
Hold on. Here,
For all the
post-wrestling.
thought about what the crowd reaction was going to be like, they were just totally behind Roman Reigns here. They were chanting behind Roman. Roman said, "If you want a table, acknowledge me." They were happy to acknowledge. And then Reed eats a Superman punch, but rolls out, avoiding the spear. And as Reigns runs around the ring, Braun Breaker hops the barricade. He had not come out. The matches they had prior to this show. They have never had a bad match before. Never. From the very first match that they had at Money in the Bank until that very last big PLE match they had at the Royal Rumble where Cena won number 16, and even the television match on SmackDown the year after that. Every single time these two get in the ring together, they put on an absolute masterclass in the ring. You just have certain opponents that can bring the best out of you. That's what we got with John Cena and CM Punk. That's what we got many times with John Cena and Edge. Right? You didn't always get it, but with the right person, AJ Styles was that person. I will also point out to you that, and I was actually a little surprised, I don't recall the announcers even mentioning this. They mentioned it on TV during the week, but I don't think they mentioned this on the show, and they certainly didn't when the match was over. This was John Cena's 100th PLE win. So he now sits in second place all time in WWE, second only to The Undertaker with 107. And obviously he's not going to pass The Undertaker because John Cena has, I guess, one PLE left. Unless you count Saturday night's main event as a premium live event, which I don't. He's only got one left, and that is Survivor Series. Actually, John Cena only has 4 dates left in general, and that is it. That is it. So much time wasted on that heel run. I mean, we're going to look back on it, and there'll be the post-mortem and everything once Cena's actually done. But I'll tell you what, this last leg of the retirement tour, I am greatly enjoying it. I only wish we had more time, and we could have made better use of this year. But this was a match I was hoping to get when they first announced that he was going to be going on this retirement tour, and
everyone makes their list, the top 5, top 10 people you want to see him in the ring with. And I don't know that there would have been a single person who wouldn't have had AJ Styles on that list. So I'm very happy we got the match. We got a lot of callbacks in this match. We got a lot of people who were honored, I guess you would say, by either Cena or AJ. Past foes of theirs. Because remember, John Cena is not the only one whose career is coming to an end very soon. AJ Styles has already made it very clear he is done in the year 2026. He made it very clear in Australia again this week. So to see him making, or putting together these moves to pay respect to people like Sting and Samoa Joe, and then you see John Cena in there paying homage to all the men that he's not going to be able to step into the ring with because there's not enough time left, whether it's Rusev or whether it's The Miz or whoever it is, only added to the match. It was just a really enjoyable 27 minutes, I want to say. Now, contrast that with another match on the show that went about as long, and actually a little bit longer than the Cena and AJ match. And that match, when it was over, I felt like there was no reason for that match to be as long as it was. Right? You could tell the level of enjoyment I had for each of these matches. You had the Cena match where the thought never crossed my mind of, this match is going a little too long, as compared to the main event, which was not a bad match. But that match, I definitely felt like there was no reason for this match to be going 30 minutes, which is what it went. Seth Rollins is your Crown Jewel champion for 2025. Last year it was Cody. This year it's Seth. Nobody should be surprised by that. They came into this match. Seth Rollins was in a 0 for 3 hole. Right now, if this were the Red Sox, let's say, of 2004 with the Yankees, yeah, you would expect them. They're going to climb out of that hole and make history. I mean, who could have predicted that? But you look at the numbers here, and it's just like, what does Cody Rhodes have to gain by beating Seth Rollins? Absolutely nothing. Right? The outcome here was preordained from the moment they announced the match. But they tried to wrap it around this story of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and self-doubt creeping in, and I have to win. I must win. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed going to Paul Heyman and saying, well, what happens if Seth loses? And Heyman telling Rollins, right, the other week, you want to know what happens if you lose? You lose the respect of your peers. You lose the respect of your fellow Vision members. They no longer believe in the vision that you are putting forth. And they want you to believe that a Seth Rollins loss here could be catastrophic for this faction. It could very well be the end of the Vision. But you had to know coming in, this was not going to be the end of the Vision. In fact, it only made sense that this night would make the Vision even stronger, which meant Seth Rollins had to win. And it meant that Bronson Reed had to win his match against Roman Reigns. Because what a loser he would look like had he come in and lost his second straight PLE match to Roman Reigns. And I'm happy to say they did the right thing, and in fact, Bronson Reed did come out of this show on the winning end of things. But we'll get into all the different matches here. Of course, we also had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against Asuka and Kairi Sane. That story's been playing itself out now for several months on WWE television. And I mentioned Bronson Reed, the biggest win of his career on this show. And then we had another Crown Jewel Championship match with the women, Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton. Unlike the Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match, which was actually coming into this show, had the best story. It had the richest history of any of the matches on this show, which is kind of funny now that I look back at this, that we're talking about this 5-match PLE, right, a Triple H special. And of all the matches on the card, the match that I enjoyed the most, and to me, inarguably the best match on the entire show, was the one that had absolutely no story. I mean, they have a history together, but that's not the story. There's no story about this match. They decided to put together a match between these two guys knowing that, I'm sure Cena wanted to work with him, but they put this match together because, they wanted to put together this dream match that they could promote for the show. Cena never appeared once on television. We have not seen John Cena at all since he got destroyed by Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. They just announced the match. But that was the best thing on the entire show. Now, Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton, no story there whatsoever. We have this Crown Jewel Championship, which is bigger than most of the women they have on the fucking roster.
And we have the champion on one brand facing the champion on the other brand for an even bigger belt that we will not see again for another 365 days. Not much to it, really. Not a bad match, but not a whole lot to it. And definitely not something that anybody is going to go back and have the hankering to go watch again. But when the show was over, I felt like there was nothing bad on the show. And there's one thing that is going to be memorable. If there's one thing that I do think people are going to go back and relive and watch over time, it is the Cena-AJ match. Everything else on the show really just felt mostly inconsequential and not particularly memorable. And that was really the story of Crown Jewel. I thought it was an enjoyable 3 hours. It was really all about one match, but it was better than WrestlePalooza. I will say that. This is your WWE Crown Jewel Perth review. It is Saturday, October 11th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Yeah, I did see on the post show, they brought Triple H out again. They have the way they do the post shows now, because they don't do the media quote-unquote scrums anymore. So they have the panel, which is usually Jackie Redmond, and Big E is there, and Peter Rosenberg, and so they bring people out, and you see the fans in the background. So they brought out Triple H, who of course comes out, and he talks about what a great show it was, what a great night, and all of this stuff. And I'm watching some of the highlights of this thing, and if you remember, when the fans behind him, maybe it was SummerSlam, were chanting, "We want Cross! We want Cross!" And he, of course, pretended like, "Oh, you want Brock? Well, you got him." Yeah, it had to be the night that Brock came back at SummerSlam. "Oh, you want Brock, right? You want Brock. You got him." Yeah, selective hearing. So this time, this is even better. So this time, you have fans chanting for MJF. I don't know where that came from, but you got MJF chants from the crowd. Of course, he's no selling it and ignoring it, but there's no way he doesn't hear it. And then after that, you've got fans that start chanting, "We want Edge. We want Edge." Again, I don't know where that came from. And almost like under his breath, like he didn't like turn around to address them, but Triple H's response is, "Well, you can't have him." Which is true. I mean, contractually, you can't. There's nothing he can do about it. He says you can't have him. And so what do the fans do? They begin to sing the lyrics to Metalingus. I felt like it's just like they're all like, and half of them didn't even, I don't think, really know the words to the song, but they start singing the song anyway as Triple H is going through his usual spiel about, what a great show and all this other nonsense. And these people are they're too busy singing Alter Bridge in the background. They're just there to have a good time, right? They were there for SmackDown on Friday. They were there for Crown Jewel. They're going to have Raw again in Australia. It's going to be another early start here on the East Coast. So we got Raw in Perth on Monday as well. And, largely a hot crowd who did all the things that you would expect them to do when you have these international crowds. The singing now is universal. It doesn't matter if they're in the UK, if they're in Paris, France, if they're in Australia, Canada. They all have to sing now. This is the new thing. They all have to sing. I'm begging them to come up with something new. They basically just take the wrestler's name and they just sing the same song, right? It's kind of the same beat, like, Roman Reigns, right? And then they'll just do the same thing over and over again with other people. It's like, come on, come up with some new material. Seriously. If you're gonna serenade us, it's the least you can do. Really all I ask. I will not be doing any singing tonight, though, so you don't have to worry about that. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Super chats are open. We've had a bunch of them in already, so I do appreciate the support. If you have questions and comments on the show, get them on in, and we will go through them a little bit later on here in the stream. I am in the middle of a very busy weekend. We had, of course, a sold-out House of Glory show last night. We had Crown Jewel then early this morning. I am still preparing for tomorrow's podcast. Not very well, but I'm trying. So hopefully the show won't be too late tomorrow. And then tomorrow night is TNA Bound for Glory. And I'm hoping I have the chance to go live for that. So there's a lot going on. And then, of course, it starts all over again 8 o'clock in the morning with Raw on Monday. So, the work never ends, but I thank you for sticking with me for all of it. Now, to get into this show here. Before the show, they had an Australian singer named Sophie Foster. This became a thing on social media. So I've never heard of Sophie Foster before. I'm sure she's a lovely lass. And she did the U.S. national anthem, and then I think she did the one for Australia as well. So she sang the national anthem, and the fans booed. All the way through, the fans booed as she was singing the national anthem, which is not the first time that that's happened this year. If you recall, back at Elimination Chamber, they were in, where were they, Toronto or Montreal? They were in Toronto. They were in Toronto for Elimination Chamber back on March 1st, and the same thing happened there. I don't know why they continue to do this on these international shows. You cannot tell me that they are this stupid that they cannot see this coming. It will only continue. It will only continue to get worse. I laugh. I can't do anything but just laugh. They just never learn their lessons. So anyway, that apparently became a thing before the show. Who gives a shit? Moving on. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, they handled commentary for the show, so they were on the call for this one. Congrats to Corey Graves, still convalescing, I guess, after his run-in with Brock Lesnar several weeks ago. He and Carmella just had their second child. I did not see if it was a boy or a girl, but congrats to the both. So anyway, they opened with the Australian street fight between the big Aussie himself, Bronson Reed, out with Paul Heyman, so no Braun Breaker, and definitely not getting any sort of hero's welcome, even though he is from the country. I don't know what part of Australia he's from, but that shouldn't matter. You know, he's one of them. But no, they did not cheer for him when he came out. But he went one-on-one with the man that they did very much cheer for here, which was Roman Reigns. Reigns was all over Reed for the first, I'd say, 5 minutes or so here of this match. They ended up outside the ring. Reigns found a trash can, and he hit Reed with it, but then he found a few toys, I guess, for him to play with. He found a cricket bat, so he pulled that out. And then he threw what at Paul Heyman, he threw what Michael Cole said was a rugby ball. It was not the rugby ball that Michael Cole would have you believe that it was. It was an Australian rules football. This is a very serious thing. You got to get it right. Australian rules football is what it was. So he threw it to Paul Heyman, which I thought was kind of funny. They got back in the ring. Reigns used the cricket bat as a weapon. Sent Reed back out to the floor. So Reigns went to ringside. As soon as he did, though, Reed steamrolled over him and briefly took control. Roman then worked him over with a kendo stick. You can't have a WWE street fight without a kendo stick. It's a prerequisite here. Reigns grabbed the house mic at that point. He told the crowd, "Perth, if you want tables, acknowledge me." So they chanted OTC and acknowledged him. And he pulled out a Slim Jim table from underneath the ring. Reed hit Reigns from behind. He ran him into the ring steps, and then he slid the table back underneath the ring. Instant heat. You want to get heat, you tease the table, and then you shove it back under the ring. And you don't even have to say another word. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. The booze will just rain down upon you. Tables are just the biggest baby face in all of wrestling. So you do something like that, you want to get heat, that's one way to get heat.
We need to get that money. First of all.
So Reed grabbed a piece of the ring steps and he battered Roman with it twice before tossing him back inside the ring. Reed pulled out 2 chairs. And he hit Roman with one of them, which then he wedged in the corner of the ring. Reed set up a chair in the ring. Roman, though, shot back up, and he hit a Samoan drop to this big SOB right on top of the chair. This chair got just destroyed. As soon as he dropped him on the chair, it's as if the chair, like under the weight of Bronson Reed, this fucking chair just collapsed in a heap. Just flattened it. Reigns then ran Reed into the chair that was wedged in the corner. He hit him with a Superman punch. Reigns went to the corner. He let out his battle cry. I call it his Al Pacino. hoo-ah.
Doesn't take away what he did.
He let out his hoo-ah.
And to close the chapter.
Well, that's funny to me. Reed, though, rolled out of the ring to avoid the spear.
That's only my opinion.
So instead, Reigns went to the floor. He started to circle the ring. He was going to go for a spear, and what happened? Braun Breaker hops the barricade, and he catches Roman before Roman can catch Reed, and he cuts him down with a spear. So Michael Cole said there's nothing the referee can do because it's a street fight. There's no disqualification. Breaker hoisted Reigns up. He handed him off to Reed, who powerbombed him through the announce table. So that brought out the Usos. So they did make the trip, even after Roman told them on Raw Monday night, I don't want you there. I don't want you there. I don't need your help. They were there anyway. Jimmy and Jay dropped Breaker with a double super kick and then did the same to Bronson Reed. The Usos hit simultaneous hip attacks to Reed and Breaker in opposite corners. Then he dropped Breaker with the 1D. So the Usos, they went up top for a double Uso splash. Reed, though, shoved Jimmy off the ropes. Breaker shot up. He grabbed Jay off the ropes, and he military pressed him over his head. And he dropped him onto his knees for a gut buster. So Breaker went to the floor. And he ran around the ring before spearing Jimmy through the timekeeper's barricade. Reed went up top. Reigns caught him with a Superman punch. And then a second one, Reigns was ready to charge him for a spear. But he had to go over and he had to give a Superman punch to Braun Breaker to knock him off the apron, which he went ahead and did. Reed then hoisted up Roman, who fought free. And as Jey Uso came in for a spear of his own, Reed moved out of the way and Jey accidentally speared Roman through the table that was propped up in the corner. Uh-oh. So Jay couldn't believe what he just did. Breaker returned to the ring and he speared Jay while Breaker dragged Roman over to the other corner so that his good buddy Bronson Reed can ascend to the top and come flying off with the Tsunami Splash. One Tsunami Splash is all it took to pancake Roman Reigns, and with that Tsunami Splash, Bronson Reed pins Roman Reigns in person. They actually did it. Good on them. Good on them. The right call. I mean, this should have been a no-brainer, but you know, with these people, you never know. But good on them. That was the right call to make. That was absolutely the right call to make. Because it now makes Roman's win over him at Clash in Paris at least understandable. If the plan had been to run this back and do it this way and give him the win here, understandable, right? But I mean, we've seen stuff before where they're just afraid. They're afraid to beat somebody, whether it's a Roman Reigns or even another big babyface. It's like they're allergic to doing it sometimes. And a guy like Roman Reigns is a made guy, so whether you beat him clean or whether you beat him with some assistance, if Roman takes the loss, Roman Reigns is going to wake up the next day and he's still going to be Roman Reigns. He's still going to be the tribal chief or the OTC or whatever nickname he's going by this week. He's still going to be as popular as he was when he laid his head on the pillow the night before. Right? For him, nothing changes. But for the person he's in the ring with, that can mean the world. Right? That's a big deal. So Bronson Reed picks up, again, inarguably the biggest win of his career. And with this, he becomes only the second man behind only Cody Rhodes, who has a singles pinfall win over Roman Reigns since 2019. That's against Baron Corbin, when Roman was still the big dog. Baron Corbin pinned him. I want to say it was the TLC pay-per-view in 2019. Cody Rhodes and Bronson Reed. He's in rarefied air now. It's a very short list since, you know, this tribal chief bloodline Roman stuff started back in 2020. In terms of singles matches, those are the only two guys. And not only that, but Bronson Reed is now on a list where he has pinfall wins over Roman Reigns and Kazuchika Okada. Not too many people can say that. In fact, I'm not sure if anybody can say that. I mean, I'm sure somebody will hear this and let me know if I'm wrong. I can't think of, I mean, who else would be on that list? At least in terms of, like, bloodline Roman that he beat. Roman Reigns and Okada, I mean, who else would even have the chance to have been on that list? I can't think of anybody. So it was a big win for him. Now, was it a clean win? No. No, it wasn't clean. And it would have been nice for Reed to shock the world and do it all by himself, of course. He had help from Braun Breaker. But you know what? Roman had help from the Usos. He had backup of his own. So the way I look at it, it kind of balances things out a little bit. You know, Reed was outnumbered as well. When it comes to the Usos going out there, you had Jimmy and Jay and Roman, and then Bronson only had Braun Breaker. So in a way, I mean, it was kind of unfair. But I mean, as far as street fights go, this one was very basic. It did have a lot of interference. So the best I can really say about it is that it was a solid opener. It really wasn't anything more than that, right? Think about the way they built this up. When they announced the stipulation on TV, they really built it up like, if you're going to beat this man, you're going to have to do it in an Australian street fight. As if this was like a known thing, that when he was on the independent scene in Australia, this was like his specialty or something that he was known for, like he's deadly in these Australian street fights. Because I thought they were going to make it a stretcher match. And you hear that and it's like, again, the crowd had no reaction to that announcement when they made that stipulation. And I look at it and go, well, of course they have no real reaction to it because they see street fights every single week on TV. They see street fights on every single PLE. And they all have the same formula, right? You see the same weapons, the same Slim Jim tables and kendo sticks, and they, you know, take the top part of the stairs off, and they have the chair across the back, and it's like it's the same bullshit all the time. And so now it's an Australian street fight. And I joked the other day, I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, are they going to throw, you know, what kind of objects are they going to find at Fred? Sure enough, they had the rugby bat and they had the Australian football. And that was really it. That was about the only unique stuff they could think of, I guess, to have that you wouldn't find in a normal street fight. That's all it was. And so as street fights go, this was pretty fucking tame. I'm not saying I want them to go in there. I want, you know, fucking Darby Allin ripping John Moxley's ear off and all this gore and shit. But, you know, it was solid. I can't really say it was anything more than that. The bigger story wasn't the match itself, right? Reed winning was like one major story here. The real major story is what came after the match. Roman and the Usos are sitting in the ring, right? Not next to each other, but they're all sitting in the ring and they're just stewing. They cut the music off, and the Vision has left. And Reigns is looking over at the Usos, and he is scolding his cousins. And he says, the whole world thinks I can't do shit on my own. Says, I told you I'm going to do this on my own. And he looks at Jimmy, he goes, I love you. He looks at Jay and he goes, I love you. But he says, I don't want to see y'all until Christmas. And with that, he leaves. And I'm like, oh man, like that's, I mean, that cuts deep. Like, he's not even inviting them to Thanksgiving dinner this year. I just pictured in my head like this big, like, Samoan feast for Thanksgiving. Like, all the family members just, I don't even know if they could find a place big enough to house all of them, but like one long table, you know, something like that. And now they're not even invited now. Roman says, I don't want to see you until Christmas. That's brutal. But anyway, Roman leaves the ring and the fans begin to chant, someone's in trouble, turning this from what was supposed to be a serious angle into comedy, basically. Jay was very upset. He told Jimmy he always do him, right? It's like he always looks out for himself. And I'm sitting here going like, yeah, no shit, I could have told you that. Like, this is the same person that we saw for those 1,300 plus days when he was the champion. Like, absolutely nothing has changed about Roman Reigns since he lost that championship at WrestleMania last year to Cody Rhodes. Nothing. Nothing except his music has changed. He has a new t-shirt. That's about it. That's it. He came back. He's not acting any differently. He's telling people to acknowledge him. Right? Nothing has changed. He was an asshole then. He's an asshole now. And the only difference is the fans cheer for him because the fans are assholes. But that's it. And yet they act like, oh, well, he always looks out for himself. He do him. Yeah, no shit. Like, you've been hanging around this guy for years and years and years. But Jay's very upset about this, and Jay basically says, I'm out. He says, I'm out. And that's how the latest Bloodline soap opera ended here on this show. Roman doesn't want to see them until Christmas, he says. But there is a War Games match coming up before that, right after Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking that Roman is going to see his cousins a lot sooner than Christmas. I don't know that either one of the Usos are going heel out of this whole thing. Jay has definitely been acting more heelish of late, which I like. I like that they've kind of tweaked his character to try to give it a harder edge. Roman can't go heel because he never went babyface. No matter what Roman does, you cannot call it a heel turn. If you do, I'll tell you to your face, you're wrong. Because he never went babyface, so it's impossible for him to go heel. But I don't see, Jey Uso actually going full-blown heel, and ending the Yeet stuff. Like, that's not going to happen. If Jimmy were to go heel, to me, that's not even that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So I don't... And you've reunited the Usos. I'm not really sure why you would want to split them up. So I don't see that happening. But, Roman, as far as him saying what he said here, people say, I can't do shit by myself. So the idea here, I guess, with the character is that, clearly it's bothering him that people say he cannot win without help from his family. So he wants to go it alone now. That's the path that he wants to pursue. So Reigns and Reed now are 1 win apiece, right? Roman won at Clash in Paris. Reed won here at Crown Jewel. If they wanted to have a rubber match, they could get one more match out of this. There's no reason that it has to stay 50-50. They have a Saturday night's main event coming up on November 1st. They could do the match there, if they wanted to. But then somebody really does... I mean, you could always have some sort of no contest finish, but, somebody has to then win, and then it becomes like this, Roman just beat him, or do you have Reed win again? I mean, you really want to solidify Reed. You haven't beat Roman a second time. I don't know if that's the direction they want to go in here. But then you have War Games, at Survivor Series. And I can't imagine the Vision is not going to be on the heel side in that match. And Roman will be on the babyface side. And the question then becomes, who does he recruit? I don't know that he'll be the captain necessarily. But if Roman's on the team, let's assume he would be the team captain. Because why would Roman be on a team and taking orders from someone else? Who populates that team? Could it be the Usos? Would CM Punk be on his team? Is John Cena going to be in War Games? It looks like that's not the case, if rumors are to be believed. So we'll see how the War Games situation shakes out. After this, we had our first of 2 Crown Jewel Championship matches here on this show. This one with the women. It was the Women's World Champion Stephanie Vicaire, 1-on-1 against the WWE Women. Tell me Tony Khan taking it.
Look on to JD from New York.
When you shop in the Shaw's app, you can count on prices that are the same online as they are in store.
I don't know how you guys operated. Last night, yesterday, SmackDown aired at 8 a.m. And only the true sickos watched the show. I was not watching any pro wrestling at 8 a.m. on a Friday, let alone SmackDown. But I waited till the evening to watch SmackDown like a normal human being at its regular time slot. I went live with the post show, like we usually do on Friday at 10:30. And then I ended up playing Battlefield until 2:30 in the morning. So, me waking up to watch Crown Jewel at 7:55, my alarm went off. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling all that hot. Luckily, I got some damn good coffee at the house. I was feeling all right. Watched the show at 8. Show ended by 11:30. Took a shower. Laid down on the couch for an hour and a half, and here I am. Ready to go. I got my Celsius Fuji apple pear, which is delicious, by the way. And I'm ready to go for today's post show, man. I know it's a little different. Normally, these shows happen in the evening. It throws me off. It throws the views off. It throws you guys off. Review happening at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't really know what time to go live because I don't know what to do as far as maximizing the audience, but being that Saturday is filled with college football and everybody wants to be out and about and probably watching anything but pro wrestling, I figured now was the best time to do it because I didn't really feel like being here at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. later tonight, and I just want to sit down with a drink and watch
the rest of Alien Earth, to be quite honest with you. So here I am, post-show, Crown Jewel. You know, WrestlePalooza, they made a big deal, a huge deal about WrestlePalooza being that it was the first ESPN PLE under the new WWE ESPN partnership. They ended their relationship with Peacock for the main PLEs on the main roster. Opted out of that early, fulfilled their commitments, moved over to ESPN. Peacock still has NXT and Saturday Night's Main Event 4 or 5 times a year. Andre Sale over at ESPN, the Monday following WrestlePalooza, gave it a C rating, citing that Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky for the WWE Vacant Women's Championship, if that match wasn't as good as it was, or wasn't on the show would have been that much more worse. WWE did nothing to draw in the fans. They gave you a Brock Lesnar-John Cena match that ended in 9 minutes. They gave you another Vision and Usos match. They gave you that great women's match. They gave you a mixed tag team match with CM Punk, AJ Lee, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch, which was fun. And the one match everybody was looking forward to on that show. And then they gave you Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes in the main event, which went off the air in the most unceremonious, uneventful ways a WWE PLE could go off the air. Then you look at this show, and you look at what they did as far as the match card, and the vibe, and the hype around this show. Crown Jewel did not get the hype that WrestlePalooza got. So just going on into the show, it was already an easier show just to digest based on you watching the weekly shows and you watching WWE in general. They didn't overhype, they didn't push, they didn't use buzzwords, they didn't use all these fancy words, and Triple H wasn't out there shilling himself for the camera, promising things that he certainly wouldn't deliver on, like he usually does. So they had that going for them, compared to WrestlePalooza. Then you look at the match card. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Now, we saw that at Clash in Paris. It was a rematch from Paris, but it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things, with War Games coming up, and the Vision still battling Roman Reigns and the Usos. Or at least they are 3 of the baby faces that have a problem with the Vision. That was a fun match, Australian street fight. Then we got Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton for the Crown Jewel Championship. Both ladies hold their respective women's championships on their respective brands. WWE Women's Championship on Tiffany Stratton. Stephanie Vaquer is the WWE Women's World Champion. Then you got John Cena and AJ Styles. And everything that went into that. Highly emotional. John Cena's got 4 dates left as a WWE superstar. And then he's gone forever. Then you got Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, which has been one of the better stories in WWE that have carried Monday Night Raw. And then you got Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, also champion versus champion. WWE champion Cody Rhodes against World Heavyweight champion Seth Rollins with the Men's Crown Jewel Championship on the line. The championships in that match weren't even of importance. It was all about the story. Now, you look at the match card, you look at the vibe, you look at the direction WWE took with this show compared to WrestlePalooza, it's like night and day. I don't know if that C rating snapped something into WWE's mind. I don't know if that C rating gave WWE a glimpse into the future with this ESPN partnership. They got to be on their best behavior, otherwise there's going to be some valid criticisms out there about their subpar product for most of 2025. But if you guys have been watching WWE the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially Monday Night Raw, you will see, and it's still very early to tell if there is a true turning of the corner for WWE programming, you will see that WWE, at least on Monday Night Raw, has turned the corner and has gone back to telling stories with characters that matter. Stories with characters that are already fleshed out. Stories with characters that, quite frankly, you, me, and the rest of the audience genuinely are emotionally connected to. SmackDown was a very good show last night. Way too early to tell if SmackDown's going to turn the corner because largely they've been just as bad as fucking Dynamite on Wednesday night. Largely apathetic, boring, lethargic shows on Friday. Little to zero creativity coming on Friday night SmackDown. It's been a PBS variety hour. I don't know whether I'm watching NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. It's all three shows bunched into one. Last night they finally did a genuine SmackDown show with SmackDown characters and SmackDown stories. That's why I enjoyed it more than I have in recent months. Now the PLE. PLE was good. I would say better than good. I think it was great. I'd give it a B+. To be quite honest with you, it wasn't a perfect show. But this show was the first show in a while where WWE gave you 5 matches and you felt like you wanted more. You felt like you wanted more because they did everything that they needed to do. The Roman Reigns, Usos, Bloodline story is now picking up steam, and I'm genuinely interested to see where those characters go. Because the story now involves the Usos and them looking for guidance from Roman Reigns. Jay wants guidance. Roman's been giving him guidance. Jimmy doesn't really like it because he feels like Jay is turning into the old Roman. Roman feels like we got to get this thing done, and the only way that it works is if we go back to what we were doing. What does that mean? That opens up a sea of possibilities. Roman tonight told both the Usos, I don't want to see you until Christmas. That line was thrown in there very purposely. We all know Roman's going to be a part of War Games. What is going to get him back on track, back on the same page with the Usos? Story. Roman told both Usos, I don't want any of your help. Literally on Raw. What do? They come out and help because the Vision is taking advantage of the no DQ rule. And what happens? The Usos fuck things up for Roman Reigns. They embarrass Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns now is blaming the Usos, citing, you embarrassed me in front of all these people, and now these people think I can't get it done on my own. Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns, thanks to the Usos' miscue. Bronson Reed is now one of 2 people in the last 5 years to beat Roman Reigns via a pinfall. The only other person to do that is Cody Rhodes. Bronson Reed now has pinned Roman Reigns and Kazuchika Okada in the last several years. Is he becoming a future legend and great? Sounds like it to me. Story. Now we figure out how we assemble this bloodline into War Games. Story. Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton really didn't have much story. It was all about the wrestling match that was. I quite enjoyed what they did. It was short. It was to the point. They didn't overstay its welcome. Or their welcome. They didn't really do too much. And they had a very good wrestling match. And I think Tiffany Stratton needed that because coming out of that terrible Jade Cargill and Nia Jax disaster a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, she needed something to wash that bad taste out of everybody's mouth. And she did it against one of the best in the world. Then you got John Cena and AJ Styles. I already see the criticisms. Oh, but JD, they're ruining finishing maneuvers, JD. Who are you hearing this information from? Who are you hearing this information from? Are you hearing this from the AEW sickos? Where everything is a fucking finishing move? They could literally set someone on fire and they'd kick out at a fucking 1 on an AEW pay-per-view. Where are you hearing this information from? They're ruining finishing maneuvers. Do you watch John Cena in the last 2 months? He's been doing the same thing over and over again.
Echoes in the night, they try to chain my soul. Flames rise.
Again. AJ Styles and John Cena was a perfect match for the setting in Perth, Australia. One that John Cena is going to look back at and probably deem his favorite match in all of his 2025 when it's all said and done. I don't know how you didn't like that match. And if you didn't like that match, you probably hate pro wrestling. And at that point, you should probably shut the fuck up. And people say I'm negative. And people say that I ruin everybody's fun. And that I'm a cancer in the IWC. Yet you got people like this. They criticize me for the things that they supposedly think I do, and then they act that same way. And they're worse than I ever am. I enjoyed the shit out of John Cena and AJ Styles. Loved it. AJ belonged in that moment, and John Cena is going to look back at that as a crowning moment in his 2025. Rhea Ripley returned to Australia. She teamed with Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors. They gave them plenty of time. Plenty of time. And I feel like, with the story that they're telling, I feel like it's only going to get better. Because now we got the tension between Kairi and Io, or Kairi and Asuka, rather. We have Asuka and Io potentially meeting one-on-one. I don't think that's over yet by a long shot. Rhea Ripley's eventually going to get back into the World Championship title picture. Who do you think she's eventually going to have to go through? We may be looking at a situation where Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are the last two women in the Royal Rumble. Loving what those ladies are doing. And then Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. The story that went into this match, the story that came out of this match, it's exactly what you want if you're a fan of pro wrestling. The story coming into it was that Seth Rollins was driving himself crazy because Cody Rhodes let him know, you've never beaten me. The last time we wrestled, all 3 times, you never had any help. Now you surrounded yourself like you criticized Roman surrounding himself. You got your goons surrounding you. Are they going to show up and ruin the match that we're going to have at Crown Jewel? Cody made that very abundantly known. And then we get Cody Rhodes with the one-liner saying that Rollins isn't really running the division because if he was, who allowed Paul Heyman to introduce Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza when he wrestled John Cena? The tensions between Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins were showcased the last 2 weeks. I gotta do it, Paul. I gotta beat him, Paul. Paul Heyman knows that Rollins was gonna beat him. But when Rollins asked Paul Heyman for his upfront honesty, what if I don't? Paul Heyman basically said, well, I'm gonna have to reevaluate my decision on why I even joined your vision. And I'm gonna have to reevaluate why I left Roman Reigns for you. Someone else that Seth Rollins cannot stand. Someone else that Seth Rollins believes he is better than. He had Cody and Roman Reigns' shadow looming large. And he needed to beat Cody Rhodes tonight to feel complete, at least for now. Paul Heyman tonight told the Vision to stay out of the match. Do not get involved. Unless Seth Rollins needs the boys. He did not need the boys. The Rolex came into play, and it was the Rolex that Cody Rhodes gifted Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40 after defeating Roman Reigns and Cody using Seth as his shield to vanquish the Bloodline. That's what caused the ending of the match. That was the turning point of the match. The Rolex to the face. Just like it was when John Cena used it on Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber while he turned heel. That Rolex, man, I think Cody Rhodes needs to go find a new watch brand to represent. Panerai seems like a good brand for Cody. Or maybe a Patek Philippe. But Seth Rollins did it. Seth Rollins did it. Now my question is, if Cody Rhodes was beaten by Seth Rollins, and he didn't need the Vision at all, it makes you wonder, do the Vision really need Seth Rollins? Does Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed need Seth Rollins? Bronson Reed just beat Roman Reigns. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed have taken care of the Usos. Do they really need Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins clearly can handle himself. So what is it that Rollins is doing? What is Rollins' vision? Seems like the vision is already crystal clear for both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They don't need anybody. So that's going to be an interesting aspect going into War Games as well. Do they need their leader? Their leader showed weakness. Their leader continued to show weakness because he didn't beat him clean. He cheated to win. Do they need their fearless leader in Seth Rollins? Something else to pay attention to going into War Games and into Survivor Series. I thought this was a great show tonight. B+ is what I would give it. Some people in the chat saying ESPN already gave their rating. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought Crown Jewel was one of the better PLEs of the entire year, especially when you put it up against all the subpar shows that WWE's put on all year. 5-match PLE still kind of pissed me off. I'm looking for that minimum of 6, but Triple H has got his formula, and apparently WWE has listened to some of the criticisms because their shows have gotten a little bit better as of late. I don't know if it's enough to bring people back, but WWE certainly had a great show tonight. We got one more in Perth on Monday, and I'm looking for some storyline developments. I'm looking for some Roman Reigns Usos. I'm looking for some Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman. I'm looking for Cody, Seth Rollins, and how we start building towards War Games. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to, man. So if you guys are like me and you want some stories, and you want a focus on stories, it looks like WWE is certainly getting back to that just a little bit going into Survivor Series, especially on Monday night. We'll talk about this show. We'll go over what happened, how we got to its conclusions in these matches. And I want to thank you guys for joining me here on this Saturday afternoon. This is your Crown Jewel post show for your October 11th, 2025. Tonight, we got a brand new sponsor. Tonight we're sponsored by Rex MD. We'll go over my friends over at Rex MD a little bit later on in the show. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the content on the channel. There's plenty of it. We've uploaded every day this week. And we were live on Friday night with the Friday Night SmackDown post show. Very good show. We had upwards towards 2,200 people on a Friday night, which is great. So you guys must have really resonated with SmackDown as well. So go check that stuff out. If I do have time, I will hopefully, if there is news, get some content up for you guys tomorrow, as we here on the East Coast are expecting a lot of rain. So I might have nothing else to do but make content. So look forward to that. And again, we'll be live back on Monday, normal time. I'm not going to watch the show during the day. I'm going to preserve it for the evening. We'll be live at 11 p.m. on Monday, like usual, for the Raw post show. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes. We're already halfway there, so if you guys want to get in on that, please, it helps me out tremendously. Hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. Super chats are open. It's also a great way to support the show. It also helps me out tremendously. Everything I take from the super chats, I put right back into the show. So make sure you guys go and do that for me. Leave me a comment. Helps us out in the algorithm. And tonight we're sponsored by Rex MD. Like I said, we got a brand new friend to the podcast family, Rex MD. You guys are going to enjoy what I got later for you. We'll go over my friends over at Rex MD a little bit later on in tonight's show.
But the White family, there was no reason to break them up.
Start at the top here, man. Crown Jewel. I did not watch any of the pre-show. It was way too early for me. I was not waking up earlier than I needed to, so I did what I had to. I woke up at 7:55, came down immediately. There was like 8 minutes of introductions and people walking into the venue. I quickly made a cup of coffee, and we were on our way. Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed start the show. Australian street fight. Reed is out there with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns is out there with no one. He told everybody to stay away. He wants to combat this on his own.
What did Randy Orton do at that time? He dropped into Jim Mahal.
I said on Monday, when I covered the Monday Night Raw show, and I said this again with Solomonster on Wednesday when we did Tuesday Night Tights. We were preempted by the head-to-head with NXT and AEW. Talked about this on Tuesday Night Titans this week, and we both said, and I said on Monday, Bronson Reed needs to win this match. Roman Reigns is operating at a godlike level. Losing for Roman Reigns means absolutely nothing, especially if you are a creative team. It is your job to be creative, and it's your job to be creative to protect Roman Reigns. Let's book an ending where it protects Roman Reigns and he doesn't lose with the no DQ stipulation behind them. Let's book a way to get Roman Reigns pinned, but also at the same time protect Roman Reigns because he's the biggest star in the company. Bronson Reed needed to win this match more than any other match that he's ever wrestled, ever. I am genuinely shocked, but also at the same time not shocked because I definitely said it needed to happen. Shocked that WWE went with Bronson Reed over Roman Reigns here.
It was so bad you had to turn.
Roman Reigns has only been pinned by 2 men in the last 5 years. That is quite the statistic. Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 and Bronson Reed tonight at Crown Jewel. Bronson Reed is Australian. You would think that he would get a little bit of a hometown pop. Nobody cared for Bronson Reed. Clearly the villain here. Roman Reigns came out, big entrance, big ovation. Australia immediately chanted as soon as the match began, "Fuck him up, Roman, fuck him up." I love that, man. It's like an old ECW chant. Reigns was all over Reed for the first 6 minutes. Being that this is an Australian street fight, I wondered what was the difference between this and a normal Joe Schmo street fight. Apparently, the difference is you get to use Australian sports equipment in this type of match. We got a rugby ball thrown at Paul Heyman. We got a cricket bat. Preserved Roman Reigns not being pinned. This is what it really is going to do to the future. You preserve Roman Reigns as the true god of the company. He's like at a godlike status. You accumulate all of this just special feeling around Roman Reigns, and then you prep to give it to those who you want to build the future around. You're looking at the future right here in these 2 guys. Roman Reigns would take nothing. He takes nothing from losing to a Bronson Reed. He takes nothing from losing to a Braun Breaker. Like, what are you waiting for? There's nobody else that you really want Roman Reigns to lose to. These are the guys. These are the guys you want him to put over. There's nobody else. There's nobody else that matters right now. There's nobody else that's going to matter. You have to be in the moment. WWE, for the longest time, especially Triple H, has been safe. They love preserving their baby faces. They don't love beating story instead of using Roman Reigns for an injury angle, only to return 30 days later to fight whoever put him on the shelf, and then keep Jimmy away from television and put Jay on TV to do nothing more than 15-minute entrances. Story. They've gone back to telling a story with these 3 guys, and that's where they thrive the best. That's their best work, when they tell stories. I don't know what more needs to be said with these guys, but clearly they got Jay as a superstar, Roman as a superstar. I said this once, I'm going to say it again. I don't know if this is leading to getting Jimmy on the same level as Jay, or if this is leading to the Bloodline getting all back together and just going back to what they did because they want to accomplish what they accomplished all those years ago, and they want to get back what they have lost. Because they see Rollins just basically cosplaying as the Bloodline, and they don't want that because they don't believe that that's the way. They don't believe that's the guy. So Roman is certainly feeling some type of way too. So maybe Roman has got it in the back of his mind, if these guys are running the fucking show and they don't belong here, maybe we need to go back and do what we did before they came along and get back what is rightfully ours. Not only the show, the brand, but the championships. Because when Roman Reigns had the WWE Championship, and when the Usos had the Tag Team Championship, they ran this company completely. I don't know what Roman's thinking. I don't know if this is leading towards a babyface collection of the OG bloodline getting back together, or them going completely heel again. I don't know. I think Roman is too over to go back to doing the heel bloodline. But whatever the case may be, I'm excited to see their story play out. There's a lot of different ways they could go about it. How are the Usos feeling? Where's Roman going? How are we going to bring him back? Is this going to bring Jimmy up to the level of Jay? Is this going to make him into a household name, a household superstar? Because right now he's the odd man out. He's just Jimmy Uso. Like, everybody knows Jay because of what he does in the entrance and the eat and the merch, and everybody knows Roman. But who's Jimmy? Where does Jimmy fit into all this? Haley or anybody, John Cena's last 5 appearances, putting him up against AJ Styles was probably the most beautiful thing that WWE could have done. This was a great match. And if there is anything that you go back and watch on this show, this is one of the 2 things you go back and watch.
Yeah.
This was a great match. So she's heartbroken out of all this. You don't need 1,000 interferences for a guy to win a match. There are other ways to do that. There are other ways to tell the story. WWE had to know that they were burning their fucking audience out on an overabundance of interference. And that the simple method of a heel taking such a slight, cheap way out, in this case with Rollins using the Rolex, is all you need. He got the job done. It wasn't totally clean, but he won on his own. And he won by using some cheap tactics that got over the referee. That's all you need. And it was enough to further the story. It was enough because Rollins made a mention of the Rolex. Why am I gifted this Rolex? What are you trying to tell me, Cody? Are you trying to tell me that you're far superior to me? By handing me this Rolex? Then Rollins goes on to say, I never wanted to help you beat Roman Reigns. You were just the lesser of 2 evils. I helped you because we needed to end Roman. But me, I always felt like I deserved that spot more than you. So what are you trying to prove by handing me this Rolex? He thought that Cody was telling him that Cody was better than him because he handed him this expensive fucking watch. And that expensive fucking watch was the end-all, be-all for Cody Rhodes tonight. Story. It was a focus, and it ended up being the reason why Rollins won. It's going to be funny if Rollins comes out wearing that Rolex on Monday on Raw. It's also going to be interesting to see the vibe in the vision. Are they going to embrace their leader, or are they going to look at him like...
We are looking for gamers who want to learn how to become video game testers, designers, or programmers. If any of these interest you...
At him like he's just a pretender to the throne. Now we build towards war games. What is the vision going to look like? Is there 3 men? What is the babyface team going to look like? How are we going to assemble them? A lot of questions to be answered.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw should be a good one. This was a great show. If you did not think this was a great show, you're simply hating. This was probably one of the better WWE PLEs of the year. I put this up next to Evolution and Elimination Chamber as the best WWE PLEs all year. And I feel like WWE, we're not there. I feel like WWE going into Survivor Series is going to be telling some better stories than they have for both WrestleMania and SummerSlam collectively. And I do feel like the second half of WWE is really going to mark how successful Triple H's 2025 has been creatively. Like, he needs to nail the next 3 months. He needs to nail October, November, and December. And right now we are in the beginning stages of getting some really good shows on Monday, hopefully Friday, follow suit. And I feel like with this show going into Survivor Series, I feel like that's going to be a great show. It needs to be a great show. It needs to. And then we got the build towards John Cena's last match and Saturday night's main event. The second half of the year will determine how people look at the totality of Triple H's 2025. There's been a lot of bad, but I think he could basically save himself from being a complete bust.
Yeah.
He delivers on the last 3 months of the year. Thank you guys for a great stream. We had upwards towards 2,200 people in here on a random off Saturday afternoon stream for this very early PLE. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy the post show, please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button down below.
Well, hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Until next time, I'll see you later. I will do Monday Night Raw on live stream on Raw. I'll see y'all later.